Heartseeker is still godly. It destroys uber bosses, decimates the infernal hordes, and speedruns 100s in less than 2 minutes. Oh, and check out Dioxide right here, blowing up T8 Infernal Horde. Now, I've been working on this build for the last week, trying to make it work with subpar gear for the one brain cell dad gamers out there, mainly due to it being a fan favorite from last season and one of the most requested builds on the channel. The single target damage was always there, but when it came to clearing infernal hordes and dealing AoE damage, it just felt like a piece of shit. And that's mainly due to Victimize sucking ass. Take your Heartseeker damage, divide it by 30, and you have your Victimize damage. It's just that shit. But here's the interesting part. By slapping on Shroud of Khanduras, which by the way has 100% lucky hit chance, something beautiful happens. Not only can it in itself hit for a buttload of millions, but it also scales with Victimize for some fucking reason, meaning it's doing nearly double its damage. Don't ask me why, I have no clue, LOL. But this is what solved the AoE damage for me, along with making the build insanely fun. We're simply reducing our evade cooldown by attacking, followed by evading around the infernal hordes, blowing all of the shitty small enemies up via our Shroud of Khanduras, and deleting the elites via Heartseeker. This allows us to clear all content in the game, despite both Victimize and our gear being shit. The build is absolutely perfect for all content in the game, and once you come across a few ubers and good pieces, just swap to Dioxide's Heartseeker build and start slapping, seeing as you should no longer need these techs. Either way, let's talk a bit more about the basics of the build for the shit newbies out there. As you know now, Victimize is pretty much dead apart from the tech I just showed you. But despite this, the build got buffed to the fucking moon in Season 5. But my man, everyone said that Heartseeker was now shit? And what buffs exactly? Well, damn, let's take a quick look. Trick attacks more than doubled our damage. Same for Shard of Varathiel. Unstable Elixir grants us 30% damage. Cold Clip, now allowing us to cold imbue our bullets and gain an additional 40% damage bonus. Dark Shroud Tempers, allowing for 1,000 of additive damage. Tricks of the Trade Node is now usable, and more. Yeah, maybe it was a good thing they fucked up Victimize, seeing as we would otherwise be farming tier 200's El Mao. But when it comes to the basics, it's very similar to the Heartseeker build you're used to. We simply stack as much basic skill damage as possible and blow shit up. Caltrops is still there, mainly for deleting bosses, and we of course have Dash and Shadow Step for mobility, but the other skills have slightly changed. First new skill here is Death Trap. This skill is just lovely now. We are combining this with Preparation to reset our skills with ease, and then combining it with the No Witnesses legendary node, which just flat out buffs our damage by 40%. On top of that, we are now able to rock Smoke Grenade. This is due to the 25% big hecking dam it provides us. This was true in last season as well, but it is now also usable on bosses, making it absolutely lovely. Well shit son, that's a bit of the basics. Let's check out the gear and aspects, just to show you what piece of shit gear we are rocking over here. I have two pieces that are great, and I'd recommend focusing on these two, namely Cowl of the Nameless and Starless Skies. When it comes to the Cowl of the Nameless, you want to focus on trick attacks. For some reason, buying one with GA on it cost basically nothing. Not sure why, but I'm not complaining. This is lovely due to it both capping out our crit chance and adding 100% big hecking crit damage to us. On everything in the game that is not bosses, this bonus will be kept up permanently. But unfortunately, there are bosses in the game, so you'll need some crit chance on your gear. For titty protection, slap on the Khandura's chest. This in itself solves AoE in infernal hordes, and is a must-have if your gear is shit. It also has Dark Shroud ranks on it, meaning you won't have to purchase a chest for a gazillion gold. The Dark Shroud ranks are then created via the Umbrous Aspect. For gloves, the Pain Gorges are godly if you grab a pair with GA on them. The aspect on it is strong, but the stats on it are just bonkers. With the absolute bonkers amounts of basic skill ranks you can get on them, far surpassing what you can get from an aspect. It also has a buttload of attack speed and cooldown reduction, which is useful for Death Trap. As Pantaloonies, I'm rocking these. Try to prio the Heartseeker ranks here. You're looking for Dex, Heartseeker ranks on armor. I was forced to temper armor instead, but what you actually want is Second Wind. You'll easily keep this barrier up, and it's just fucking bonkers. Oh, and don't forget the Umbrous aspect. For sneakers, this is where you'll grab your second armor roll and just slap on the typical stats, along with the concussive strikes aspect. This aspect is a must to make sure enemies are dazed for trick attacks. You also need attacks reduce evade cooldown here for the playstyle to work. For the weapons, shit turn interesting. I'd go for Dex, Max Life, and Vuln as your regular rolls here. Of course, grab Heartseeker projectiles, but then you want Dark Shroud tempers. If you get Heartseeker to 100% followed by masterworking the Dark Shroud temper everywhere, then holy shit are you going to destroy. We're also using Moonrise here, followed by Shard of Varathiel, of course, and then this piece of shit. Now this important so turn off your Sasha grade 10-man gangbang for just a sec and listen up, will you? If you grab Elemental Surge with poison on it, then you will be able to rock Alchemical Advantage in the skill tree. It's also a hecking good passive to have on the amulet, even though there are currently better ones. Other than that though, the typical stats, along with ultimate damage, roll for the Perragons and the Conceited aspect. It's also possible to rock the Coombringer if you have it, for more defensives. For the jewelry, just do your best to grab a few useful skill ranks. Malice is great, along with Exploit, Frigid Finesse, and Alchemical Advantage. Funnily enough, I managed to re-roll to Frigid Finesse just after recording this video, so I thought I'd let you know it made me a very satisfied man. Any poggers in the chat? Anyhow, a good amulet will instantly double your damage, so start swiping my man or woman. This is also where I'm using the adaptability aspect. Funnily enough, I still haven't found one even near the max roll. Blizz may be punishing me for all the titty milk jokes I've been doing towards them, I feel like. Either way, slap on innovation ranks for Mana Regan and we'll go to the rings. Starless is just fucking goated. But if you don't have it, it should be just fine as long as you have enough innovation ranks. An additional backup is the Starlight aspect, and could be used when leveling up, for example. Other than that, though, the Cold Clip aspect is just godly. And finally, the specialization. Preparation is now the name of the game, seeing as we can turn our Death Trap into multiplicative damage. Alright, I'm going to try to answer some frequently asked questions now to save me a bit of time answering comments. Hey Mr. Perragaming, I need more defensives. What can I do? Well damn son, Dark Shroud and Second Wind ranks are your main defensives, so focus on those. If your gear is absolutely atrocious, then you can always pick up more points in Sturdy and Dodge later on. You can also just swipe a Coombringer or get good. Hey Mr. Big Dick Senpai, I have successfully used my credit card to get myself a Shaco. Is it good for this build? Sure if you need the defensives. Cowl of the Nameless is more damage though. Hey my lord and savior Mr. Perragaming, I'm running out of energy. What should I do? Watch the fucking guide, bud. Innovation ranks along with Starless or Starlight aspect is your source of energy. Hey Mr. Gamer God, is this build better than Andariel's? Nah, but it can clear all content, so who gives a shit? If Victimize is fixed in the mid-season patch, expect this build to be competing with the top dogs. Once you get to swap to the Dioxide version though, this build is easily an S-tier build. Yo, my favorite YouTuber, is this good against Uber bosses? Hell yeah, bud. I've got a boss killer setup in the planner if you're going for some Uber farming as well. Well, shit. Enough of the interrogation because it's already skill tree a fucking clock and you know it, my man or woman. Starting us off with Heartseeker, we want Enhanced and Primary Heartseeker for the AoE. We then go to pick up Siphoning Strikes for the healing and Sturdy. After that, it's time for some agility skills. Dash and Shadow Step for mobility, along with a buttload of passives for big hecking dam. And Caltrops, of course, to delete bosses with ease. After that, we pick up every goddamn Dark Shroud rank we can muster, seeing as we're better cuck soy boys that actually invest in defensives. We also grab Smoke Grenade here. If you don't manage to temper poison on your weapon, then you can also pick up Subverting Smoke Grenade here instead, so we can use a strong passive further down. We then pick up a few lovely passives and find ourselves in Cold Imbuement. Not only does this make enemies vulnerable and frozen, but it also grants us a whopping 40% damage bonus. Just lovely. Frigid Finesse is also godly and should be prioritized on the amulet. Alchemical Advantage is the reason I wanted you to temper poison on your weapon for the lucky hit and attack speed. If Blizz gets the massive thumb out of their ass, then this passive should be on the amulet, as lucky hit will be godly again. But for now, these points are enough. We then go to the ultimates, where Innovation is our energy resource and Second Wind is just godly for defensives. Followed by Death Trap, along with Enhanced and Prime Death Trap. And finally, the key passive. For Infernal Hordes and the Pit, we're rocking Victimize. In the Boss Killer setup, all you need to do is just swap to Close Quarters for more damage. And that, my friends, is the skill tree. Let's take a quick break, shall we? Appreciate this lovely build and sub to the fucking channel. Hell yeah. Starting off the Perragons, we're rocking Control for the 20% massive damage, followed by Cheap Shot. Now there is room to grab more damage in my Perragons, but I decided to go for a buttload of defensives instead, so that any dogshit newbie can play the build. We have Fluidity for damage and damage reduction, and then we go to No Witnesses. With correct masterworking, this one should be capped. I'm also socketing Diminish here for the damage reduction and max life. We then go to pick up Tricks of the Trade, a buttload of defensive nodes, and Socket Exploit for instant vulnerable. After that, it's time for Exploit Weakness, some defensives, and back we go. All the way back to Deadly Ambush, which is just absolutely lovely if you manage to actually hit your Caltrops Lamau. We then finish off with Canny for a bit of additional damage. And that, my friends, are the Perragons. Let's check out how to get heckin' good, shall we? Damn right. The playstyle is silky smooth. The basics is that you're shooting out Heartseekers out of your dick, followed by evading. Each time you evade, you blow up everything around you. Due to this, all you actually need to focus on killing are the elites, seeing as all of the other enemies will be exploding with ease. Not unlike yourself, you dirty dog. Other than that, though, Dash and Shadow Step are, as you know, used for mobility. Shadow Step is also godly for the unstoppable it brings. And for the other skills, they're used for dealing big dam. Smoke Grenade, the sorry asses of elites and bosses, and focus mainly on using Caltrops on bosses and rough elites, seeing as it's clunky as fuck. Death Trap, though, that you can use whenever you want. Each time you drop it, you'll receive a massive damage bonus. Well, damn, you still here? I appreciate that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.